TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. The Islamic Republic of Iran, via its Lebanese proxy Hezbollah, is threatening to bring about the destruction of Lebanon. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announces Israel's 5 defining points for the Gaza Strip. Israeli Finance Minister Betzalel Smotrich calls upon Prime Minister Netanyahu to assert Israeli sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. The Islamic Republic of Iran is threatening to bring about the destruction of Lebanon if its proxy Hezbollah is forced to disarm. After Iran's Supreme National Security Council Director Ali Larijani visited Beirut, where he demanded of the Lebanese government to abandon its newly asserted policy, to which Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam pushed back by insisting that the Ayatollah regime must not meddle in Lebanon's internal affairs, Hezbollah Secretary General Naim Qassem has leveled a scathing threat to the Lebanese government this morning, in which he emphasized that life would end in Lebanon if the Iranian proxy is confronted.
The Lebanese government bears full responsibility for any strife that may occur. We do not want it, but there are those who work for it. The Lebanese government bears responsibility for any internal implosion and any destruction of Lebanon. Or there would be no life for Lebanon if you are going to stand on the other side and try to confront us and eliminate us. Lebanon cannot be built except with all of its pillars.
Qassem continued by asserting that his organization Hezbollah and the Amal movement of Lebanese Parliament Speaker Nabih Berri had agreed not to have their people protest in the streets since they are unwilling to engage in any type of dialogue with regard to disarmament. Instead, they will react with force against any attempt to disarm their heavily armed militias.
Hezbollah and the Amal movement agreed to postpone the idea of having street demonstrations on the basis that there is room for opportunity, there is room for discussion, there is room to make adjustments before we reach the confrontation that no one wants. But if it is imposed, we are up for it, and we are ready for it, and we have no choice. Then, the demonstration in the streets will spread throughout Lebanon and reach the American embassy.
Hezbollah's Secretary General continued by asserting that his terror army would not abandon its weapons so long as Israel exists.
The resistance will not hand in its weapons as long as the aggression continues and the occupation is ongoing.
It is important to know that in the past 24 hours, the IDF struck several underground infrastructure belonging to the Iranian proxy Hezbollah. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, the presence of the infrastructure that was struck posed a blatant violation of the understandings between Israel and Lebanon, and in line with those understandings, the IDF will continue to operate in order to remove any threat posed to the State of Israel. Turning to Jerusalem, where Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated in a televised address that Israel is resolved to achieve its 5 core objectives for the war with the Islamist Hamas and relate to the Israeli public the Security Cabinet's list of objectives.
1 week ago, I convened the Security Cabinet and we determined 5 principles for the conclusion of the war. 1. Hamas is to be disarmed. 2. All hostages, the living and the deceased, are to be returned. We will not give up on a single one. 3. The Strip is to be demilitarized. Not only must Hamas be disarmed, but it must be ensured that weapons will be neither produced in the Strip nor smuggled into the Strip. 4. There will be Israeli security control in the Gaza Strip, including the security perimeter. 5. There will be an alternative civil administration that is neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority. That means people who will neither educate their children for terrorism, finance terrorism, nor dispatch terrorism. These 5 principles will ensure the security of Israel. This is the meaning of the word victory. This is what we are working on, and it is beneficial for everyone to internalize it.
Amid significant international pressure, which was sparked at the initiative of French President Emmanuel Macron, Prime Minister Netanyahu subsequently addressed Western civilization in a message of both defiance and resolve.
I want to talk to you about appeasement then and appeasement now. Before World War II, the Western countries tried to appease Hitler. He said, just give me a piece of Czechoslovakia and I'll make peace with you. And they cowed, and they bowed, and they yielded. And they gave Hitler a piece of Czechoslovakia, and you know what happened next. Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia and then started the worst war in the history of the world, World War II. Well, today the West is telling Israel, just give the Palestinians a piece of Israel and they'll make peace with you. No, they won't. For the last century, they've been offered a state of their own, and they refused because their goal is not to create a state for themselves, it's to destroy the state of ours, the Jewish state. That's their national goal. So we're not going to commit national suicide. We will not bow to foreign critics who lack the courage to face their own enemies, yet lecture us on how to face ours. We will not reward terror. We will defeat it. And the Jewish people will live free, strong, eternal in our land.
It is important to know that before Netanyahu's remarks, pushing back on Western sentiments on granting Palestinian statehood recognition, Israeli Finance Minister Betzalel Smotrich urged the Prime Minister to assert Israel's sovereignty over the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley.
On this important day, I call from here on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The time has come to fully apply Israeli sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, to forever remove from the table the idea of dividing the land, and to make sure that by September, Europe's hypocrite leaders will simply have nothing to recognize.
Minister Smotrich made his call after he announced the approval of a new Israeli community in the Judean desert, an area titled E1, which separates between the town of Ma'ale Adumim and Jerusalem.
We stand here in Ma'ale Adumim and clearly announce the seal has broken. The E1 plan, Mevaseret Adumim, is hitting the road. For over 2 decades, we were told soon it's coming, right after the elections. And today, we are finally fulfilling the promise and connecting Ma'ale Adumim to Jerusalem, our one and only capital. A strategic, security, and demographic connection that ensures our united capital for generations to come.
The strategic territory in question was long regarded as the only viable territory to connect a future internationally aspired Palestinian state from north to south. Therefore, according to the Finance Minister, at a time when international leaders are cynically trying to recognize a fictitious Palestinian state, Israel will respond by forcing them to contend with reality.
Whoever in the world is trying to recognize a Palestinian state today will receive our answer on the ground. Not with documents, nor with decisions or statements, but with facts. Facts of houses, facts of neighborhoods, roads, and of more and more Jewish families building lives. They will speak of the false Palestinian dream. We will continue to build a fulfilling Jewish reality. This reality definitively buries the idea of a Palestinian state, simply because there is nothing to recognize and no one to recognize.
Minister Smotrich was subsequently asked by international media outlets whether his move was backed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump.
Has Benjamin Netanyahu agreed to this plan, and has Donald Trump agreed?
Of course. What's the question?
Tell me more about Trump.
I will speak Hebrew because it will be more comfortable for me. But
Everything I do in the Judea and Samaria is being done in full coordination with Netanyahu and with his blessing. It's done in full coordination with our friends in the White House, with President Trump, with his team, with Ambassador Huckabee.
Meanwhile, the European Union responded to the finance minister's decision to build upon the so-called E1 territory, claiming the move contravenes with international law. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. Let us not forget the 50 hostages, to include up to 20 of whom are still believed to be alive, who've now endured 679 days in brutal Hamas captivity in the Gaza Strip. I would like to encourage you to pray for them. Pray also for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. And separately, if you're blessed by our daily program, since TV7 Israel is exclusively donation-based, any contribution will help us share the truth here from Jerusalem. You can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, and God willing, we will see you during our next update. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.